back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry for the little delay in time. We're having little technical difficulties in the back, and so that's why we're taking this long to come up. I have Alfred in the back, so well, hey Alfred, welcome to the show. We you want to unmute yourself? Can you hear me?
Let me go. Let me choose my position here. I'll come on.
Okay,
I was just testing it to see.
everybody's still
I'm trying to do my own technology here to see whether I can connect this thing to my computer and then use the camera on the phone.
I think we're putting the people to sleep. Everybody's still testing.
Yeah, we gotta do this, my dear, so that we can be set and ready to move. Yeah, but let me
Okay.
change my position. I'll get back on.
No problem. Go ahead. So, see, change is very, mm, it can be very difficult for some people. We are still trying to transition, so everybody having a little difficulty coming on. Are you still here, Tama? You're watching from Burkina Faso. Oh wow. That is great. I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, thank you for waiting. If not, I hope you come back. Sorry for keeping you waiting. We're taking care of some stuff in the back. So by the end of this week, by the grace of God, I'm pretty sure all of this is gonna be straightened out. And when we come on, it'll be super, hopefully. So while still wait for Alfred to set up, Formula is also coming on. Um, so let me see. Brother. Yes. Tama, are you still here? So this is the night day exchange. Um, we're here from Monday to Thursday. This is the group from the Spoon Late Night. This is the group from the Spoon Late Night Show. We are only going to be on Spoon now from from Friday to Saturday. So we decided to switch on this platform from Monday to Thursday. The Spoon Late Night Show is still on from Friday to Saturday. So this is going to be from Monday to Thursday. And this is our first Monday. So that's why we're having all these troubles coming on. So everybody trying to get in there, different gears and stuff, and still having difficulties switching over. So we're sorry about that, and we hope that you bear with us so until we can get our things together. And if you're here with us, share the show. Tell your friends, tell your family. We are on here Monday to Thursday and on Spawn Friday to Saturday, just on Liberia Wash TV on Facebook and YouTube. So when you go on Facebook and YouTube and look for Liberia Wash News, you will find us Monday to Thursday. When you come on at 8 Central Eastern Central Time, I think, yeah, something like that, and which is 12 in Liberia, 12 midnight, yeah, in Liberia. So that is our start time. It's the same start time that we always had. Some days we will be late, especially this week. Shoot, something pop up, and but we'll be here to bring you the issues that we're here to talk about a lot of issues that everything that's going on in the country, from social to politics, everything included. We're not limited to anything. So stay tuned, and sometimes you want to join us, join in the conversation while we talk about Liberia. It's all of our home. We want to see better. We want to see it do good, and all we have to do, the contribution we can make, is to come here and hold our leaders' feet to the fire, or point out things that we know are going wrong in the country. And sometimes they just need us to talk about it. Maybe sometimes they're not paying attention or they are overlooking it. But when we come on these platforms and try to talk about it, they will pay attention to them. So that's why we do it. We're not doing it because of any other reason, but because we love Liberia. And you're not watching because of Amy, because of anybody else, because you love us, or but because of Liberia. The love that you have for your country and wants it to do better. That's why we're all here. We may all have different views from different, everybody have different political party that is supports, and at the end of the day, we are all Liberians, and we all want Liberians to do well. That's why we come on this platform and talk about the issues in the country and what's happening. We come on here and let you know our analysis on things, and we would disagree. Sometimes it would get hot. Sometimes it would be heated, everywhere. And the calls, we want you to place your calls and tell us about your feelings about the things that we're talking about, your analysis and what you want to see in your country, how you want to see your country, moving from now on. The 20, I mean, the betterment of Liberia is all of our concerns. What we want to see happen, how we want to see it. We may want to see it from want to see different people doing it. A guy from another party may say, "Oh, I want my guy to do it." I'm if you like, "Oh, this is the guy that should be doing it," and we come in and argue it out, and you're the audience. You be the judge, and you also have your points to make in this too. At the end of the day, we will all, pray that everything works well for our country. That's what we're here. And Africa must rise, Liberia in particular must rise, like everybody are doing in that area. So we will continue to come in and talk about Liberia, talk about issues concerning the schools, concerning different topics. How our people should behave, as well as we talk about jobs. But today we're gonna be looking at, hopefully we'll be looking at the ruling from the court um about the Solicitor General case, the traffic violation case. We're talking about that, and then we'll also be talking about the election for, like, the seat that Liberia is trying to get at the UN. So I think that's the most important thing that everybody are talking about today in the country, or been talking about the whole week, the weekend, and today. So we'll come in here. I mean, we'll talk about the importance of this seat, what it means to Liberia, and when we get it, and not if we get it, it's when we get it, because we're praying and we know. I believe that we will get it. So I'm going to speak in that term. When we get it, what's in it? What's it going to be for Liberia? How is how is this going to affect Liberia? What good things that are going to happen that Liberia is holding that seat. So that those are the kind of things that we'll come in and talk about. And it shouldn't, it shouldn't matter where you sit, right? Liberia, we're talking about Liberia. We're not talking about a political party taking that seat. We're talking about Liberia taking that seat. So it should be all of our joy, regardless of where you sit. Yeah, all of us should be advocating for this and should be happy about this happening for our country. So with that being said, I got my brother Formula Maximum J Formula on here. So well, thank you for coming on, Formula, for rescuing me. The rescue, one of the
Yeah, I
rescue.
know. You are indeed a true, you know, representation of what it means to be resilient. I
Oh,
know that the beginning of everything is always difficult, but
absolutely.
tough people last. You know, people who really want to see change. That's why I always say to you, we don't need bunch of reactionary to carry on a revolution. We need only convinced men. So people who are convinced and willing to come Let them come and let's discuss the issue, because everything we talk about is about Liberia. So
Mhm.
Liberia is on the verge of making history, and
Amen.
all we can say is to be positive that tomorrow, uh, um, all those delegates in representation from all the various countries going to see reason to join a legion of men and to say, let's give Liberia the opportunity again, because the only time since 1945 the United Nations came into existence, and Angie Brooks was the only person from Liberia who has represented the country before, a lady.
Mm.
And the Angie Brooks Center at the campuses of the University of Liberia was named after her. So um, since that time, it has been more than I don't know how many years since we last had the opportunity. So this time around, we think it is prudent enough that Liberia be given a chance to sit
Mhm.
on the non-permanent seat. Why it is true that decision made at the Security Council is primarily dominated by the Big Five.
Mhm.
It also give Liberia a voice on the table, because those that serve on the non-permanent seat, they are not only um, not because they say Security Council, so that means it's only issue of security. No, they also economic wise, because there is bilateral talks, and people go there also to extend relationship, to strengthen bonds, between regions.
Mhm.
So Liberals tend to gain a lot, because other people think that it's just a mere and seat, and Liberia is investing a lot of time and effort. Like they always have negative people on the other end thinking that this is not going to use anything, but this is a right trajectory the country is on. And as we said, this administration, our purpose, they came to regain Liberia image among community of nations. You see what I'm saying? So Liberia is now respected again on the national scene, as we saw today in the news that the IMO Liberia has just raised the money and paid their due to the international, and how do you call them, uh Alfred already know that name, the IMO, where the ambassador Pade.
Right.
You are muted. Ambassador Pade presented the check today.
Yeah,
uh,
that is the International Maritime Organization.
yeah, the International Maritime Organization. So Liberia has just paid her due, and that is a significant step again. And Liberia is now again being respected among community of nations. So there's a lot of positive things that is happening, and we always are going to come up here and say to our people that let us keep saying the positive things that I've always said on the show. Continue saying positive things and it will manifest. For me, I'm a man of faith. So I will never say that my country will fall, or I pray for the downfall of any of my countrymen. I always pray that my countrymen succeed. I'm not like other people who say I want the country to fail so that they can get power. I'm not in that kind of a line. But we are happy that Liberia is at a point where we continue to speak to the consciences of our people so that they can continue pushing positive news so that Liberia can go up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, from that. Oh wow, look who I'm looking at here, Miss Ruth Goba. My Ruth, thank you for showing up. Our mama never leave us. She's here right now. My Ruth, share the show. Please share the show and let everybody else know that we're here from Monday to Thursday, and we'll be back on Spoon Friday and Saturday. So, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. So, Alfred, what do you think? What does it mean for Liberia? This seat to get this non-permanent seat at the UN. What is it
Tonight,
significant?
tonight, as we discuss the United Nations, I'll be more nationalistic tonight about where we are as a country. I think it's a good thing. Um, we all need to support this endeavor. because it's a shame that Liberia, having been a founding member, a founding member of the UN, will not be able to influence the UN since 1960 or 1970 when Liberia took that seat. I stand to be corrected on that. Since then, we have not had the opportunity to influence to influence the United Nations at that higher level. So I think it's about time that all Liberians, no matter your political, differences, no matter where you are, where you stand on this political spectrum, it's just good that we all come together to support this endeavor. Sometimes people will say, you know, while we stand to benefit, but
Mhm.
we are not living in isolation as a country. Liberia is part of a global village, and
Mhm.
it's important that we participate in all the organizations that we have signed up to, whether it is the UN, whether it's the AU, whether it's ECOWAS. We need to play our role because all these organizations that you see around here today, Liberia is a founding member. When we are talking about founding member, we are talking about the first countries. Now, Edward decided to say, yeah, it's important that we have a global world order that we all can respect to ensure that we can have peace in the world. Because come to think about it, if we as human beings we not trust each other, we can come together to form an organization where we are able to, checkmate each other on our different complexities. The world will just become a chaotic place. So it's important that this particular journey that Liberia have started say 1940 is something that we should continue to. In fact, since 1914, I would say, because the League of Nations Liberia was a founding member before coming to 1942. Where when the United Nations came up, to be that global, organization where all countries decided to come together to make peace around the world. So yes, it's something that we should support. But I would strongly little bit disagree with my brother to say, we should keep talking about positive things, and we are not acting in that direction. That is my disagreement on that. But it's good that we talk about positive
So
things.
we will come to that. We'll come to the disagreement and the agreement, but let's stick on the something. So for people who don't know, right, Afra, who are going to be doing, who are involved in this election? Like, because tomorrow is the election, people will be voting. Who are the people? Is it
So
countries?
you
Yeah.
have besides besides the big five, you have 15 members of the UN Security Council. You have 15 members, non-permanent members, beside the big five. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so so when you take that group from the 192 countries, um, so significantly you have, let's say, 50% of the entire group be coming from Africa. Because the UN is 54 countries from Africa. It's the largest bloc in the UN, and Liberia being part of the continent and from Africa. So these people will be voting because every time the General Assembly come together, you have to vote
Guys, I'm
maybe
on the
two or
road.
but
That's
we
why
just
So
don't
I'm on the
also
road.
you on the
I'm
road.
not driving though.
Please,
I'm not driving.
yeah, please mute. Thank you. So yes, you have these people that will be coming with vote. So all countries will be coming over there. That's why you see like people being lobbying in the sub region and the whole Africa to see how best they can vote. You know, and we want to thank all the African countries for endorsing Liberia's bid. As I stand to be corrected on that. But I know that the AU have already endorsed Liberia's bid. ECOWAS has already done that. Evidently by the fact that we saw Edwin Melvin Snow in the ECOWAS Parliament, pushing Liberia's case.
so
So this
after
is
you think we got this thing in the bag? Shoot, every country is in Africa vote for Liberia.
yes, yes,
Mm.
because we are all one people. I don't want to be more political today when it comes to whether it's colonialism or imperialism. I don't want to discuss that today. But as a people, we need to come together to make our voices need to be heard.
Right.
We are talking about the reformation of the UN. The current reality, the formation of the UN from 1942 does not still meet current reality. We need a rigorous reform of the UN Security Council. We need a reform of the UN as a matter of fact. But tonight we don't want to diverge on why we, the conglomeration of the United Nations still remain the same since 1942. It's another debate for another day. We are here for Liberia. Let's keep talking about why it's important that Liberia take the presidency of the UN Security Council this time around, because it is Liberia's time.
Thank you. So, Momo, do you have anything to add on this
Oh,
whole? What do you think about this whole?
I think you guys have said it all. And yesterday, I touched on this a little bit. I'll be like, this is a time in our nation history that we should all cherish. We
We can hear you. I mean, you got any?
I mean, you muted and
we
Momo.
lost it.
Okay,
Momo,
we
Guys,
got
can you
you
guys
good
hear
now.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we lost it in the last.
It's going by again.
I think because
Yeah, we
the
lost it in the last 6 years. We were not a respectable nation among the Committee of Nations. So now that we are going back to where we used to be, how we used to be revered by our peer countries and stuff around the world and within our sub-region, this will be a reawakening of our, respect amongst the Committee of Nations. So we should all, cherish this moment. We should all be prepared tomorrow to celebrate our us getting back that seat, because I think we once held it before, and yeah. So
so should this be a glory to a particular political party in our country, or?
I mean, it should be a victory for all Liberians. Let us put politics aside now. Even though a lot of them from the beginning never believed that's going to happen, because they weren't the one. It wasn't their administration under which we were trying to get this seat. But in the end, whether they came on board late, last or whatever, I think
Yeah, because I was just gonna say that, Momo. Like everything in our country today is politics. Everything, like you know,
yeah.
someone touches, is this person this, is that person. So, I mean, you think it's possible that people want to pull, even though you are right, we should put politics aside, but you think it's possible? You think that
I mean, Liberia nowadays it's very hard to separate the two. Everything people in the country now, we always try to play politics with it. But as a UPS and as a patriotic Liberian, as a patriot,
They keep calling him.
so formula, do you think it's possible to differentiate the two, like politics and what's happening right now in with this whole
can you hear
seat?
me?
Yeah, just put
Yeah,
your
go
phone, do
ahead.
not disturb. That way you will not get a
I'm
call
so
coming
sorry.
in.
Yeah, I got put on that. So yeah, to climax this whole thing is that, look, let us relish this moment, right? This is a victory for all Liberians, regardless of which political divide we find ourselves. Let us keep this in politics aside. It's kind of hard to do it because these CDC people, sometimes I can really want to get on them, but you know what? This is a time for all our Liberians to celebrate this win for our country. So, as a patriotic Liberian, as a U-based, we welcome them. Let them come and alley. They don't want advocating it for us. They didn't want bread. Everybody gonna alley. Cause when Lone Star go play game, when Lone Star win, everybody who really was talking bad muffin Lone Star from the beginning. You see, there's Lone Star won and. So now that if Lone Star lost, they will say, okay, a lot of FCC people they didn't do that. So now that they've seen that there's a clear path
Hmm.
for Liberia to get that permanent seat, everybody wants to come on board. So we welcome them and we will put politics aside. But at least we know that it is under the GMB administration that is happening, that Liberia is going to be respected again. So we're fine with it. Let's move on and make this thing void of politics. That's what I have to say.
Okay, so formula, what do you think? You think it's possible?
yeah, I've been very very positive about it, and Liberia gonna get this seat. From what we've seen so far from the latest engagement, and at least this time around, um, we call on all stakeholders to put aside politics, individual interests, and for once in our lives, let us live to see people in our country who are at the higher apex of leadership and who have been living and funding out from the taxpayer dollars, put aside our own individual feelings and put the country first,
Mhm.
because this is about our own national interest. Liberia is a small country of little over 5 million population, and is considered as one of the oldest country on the continent. So for us to be today fighting for a non-permanent seat, and it's sometimes shameful, but um is a very courageous effort, and
Mhm.
I think that we can get it, and hopefully tomorrow at this time we can come back on this platform and celebrate the effort of all those guardian men and women who out there, all in the various quarters, and lobbying and talking to colleagues to give us this chance so that we can be seated up there.
Thank you. Alfred, should we look at this as a victory for Africa too? Should in case Liberia win this seat?
Well, I would say yes, because Liberia is part of the continent, and there's no way that we can disrespect the fact that Liberia is, because Liberia is somewhere there, so it's a small country, so it will not make any impact. When it comes to the continent, I think there is something for the continent, because understand now, we just got endorsement from the AU, you know, and I think it's a victory for all of us to at least, because this is what we have been crying about when it comes to the reformation of the UN.
Mhm.
The current world order that we have does not meet current day realities. We are
Right.
talking about reformation of the UN, and if big countries around the world now realize that the world order that was put together in 1942 does not meet current reality, there's a need to rigorously change the formation of the UN. And if it starts with, allowing smaller countries like Liberia to take the non-permanent seat, and run it for like 2 years and then turn it over to another country, this is something that we should celebrate, because now we'll be sitting at the table. We'll be sitting at the table. We'll not be under the table anymore. We'll be sitting at the table and having conversations, and having that mutual bilateral relationship. That's what we're talking about. So I think it's a victory for the continent, but there's more to be done when it comes to the reformation of the UN. We need more to be done. It's not just about five people. Just think about it. You have 192 countries in the world, and only five countries will just sit there and decide what happens in the world. I think that
Mhm.
is not good at all. We need some reformation in the UN. If that means that we need to start talking about, giving smaller countries like Liberia, or even enlarging the 15 member seat, you know, where everybody can have a seat, it will make a lot of sense. Because, say for example, what happened in the corona crisis, you saw big countries deny smaller countries vaccines, for example, you
Mhm.
know. So this is something that we need to think about as a global village. That is important that all of us have a voice on the table. You can say you have a nation that is united together, and you only have few people that enjoy the privilege of that organization. I think that is not good for the current dispensation that we have. We need serious reformation of the UN. We need to have Africa at the table, especially when it comes to the permanent seat. We need to have Africa at the table, because Africa for a long time have been left out of the conversation. And we
Absolutely.
cannot consider we cannot consider Africa as an emerging continent with young people. The continent that is so rich, that has everything that you think about in this world, cannot have you know cannot be part of the decision making when it comes to in the world order. I think this is time that we all come together as Africans to make sure that Africa is not just becoming non-permanent member,
Yeah.
but making sure that we can have at least two or three countries from Africa on the permanent seat.
Mhm.
You know, that's what we are talking about, and I think this is something that all of us should celebrate. As a Liberian, I'm a proud Liberian today. That Liberia will be seen out there. Now, people think about what a benefit it will bring to the
Mhm.
country. There's a lot of benefits to that. You don't look at the bilateral relationship.
Yeah, as for one of I also wanted that too because I don't, so like me, a lot of people out there wants to know like what is the benefit to all of this for
Number one,
Liberia.
let's talk about the bilateral relationship. Today, I was watching. I think was it Power TV or OKFM? Sorry, I was watching OKFM, and I saw a high power delegation from India
Okay.
in the Liberian Senate. You know, lobbying with Liberia's commitment to India in terms of global decision making. Where
Mhm.
Liberia stands when it comes to just the recent conflict that India had with Pakistan, and they were pleading on Liberia's behalf for Liberia to stay with India. So those are the benefits that you get when you are at a higher level. You kind of co-mingle with other countries in terms of national development. You talk to people that want to do investment.
Mhm.
You have that leverage of talking to other countries,
Mhm.
setting your countries out there in terms of development, what you want to see happen in your country, why you think investment should come to your country. Those are the areas that you have those kind of leverage where you are able to talk to. For example, you be able to talk to the IMF, for example. You talk to the World Bank, those organizations that are talking about development, especially where now you're having this global competition between China and the United States.
Right.
So Liberia stand a stand to benefit. It stand a very big chance to benefit in all areas, whether it's education, whether it's infrastructure development. Where I mean, a few days ago we are just talking about the MCC, right? Where
Mhm.
the MCC is talking about giving, I think, don't hold me on this one, around 490 million grant for Liberia's development. I think those are the achievements that you get when you are at a higher level.
Okay. So yeah. So I think we said all about this topic, and we're now gonna
Let
transition.
me just add a little bit to what
Okay, sure. Go
Comrade
ahead.
Alfred just said. You see, being you know a member of the having a non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council also give you the ability to to push other countries' agenda. Once you're able to do that, most countries will come to you like their agenda. They want to be pushed like, oh, because of your position on that non-permanent seat. If you have to push that, you can leverage that,
Oh.
to asking them to come to the country. Like India, for instance, if India has a certain thing that they want Liberia to push, to come to Liberia to push that through. And by so doing, we can also ask that, look, we need a tech a tech school built in our country. We need stuff like India is more tech savvy. They are they are when it comes to technology, they are way up there. So we say, oh, man, when you have to build one of the, bring one of the more powerful technology school to the country, build it for build, or maybe the Bali Island one. We had one of the bid that he couldn't build. We could tell him to come and build the Bali Island for us. If we push that agenda, so it's almost like take for tack. You gotta do for someone and then they'll come in, So that we have a lot to leverage, when it comes to, that seat so once we occupy that seat, look, with the right leadership in power, right, we can use that position for the next 2 years, to
Mhm.
gain a lot because we'll be seen as a respectable nation, that nation that other nations look up to push agenda at the UN Security Council. So, look, let us all celebrate
Well,
tomorrow if we happen to win that seat tomorrow because it's going to be a true victory for all of us. Our nation's going to rise again. We're going to be at that place where, people, other nations will look at us as one of the as a respectable nation and not just look at us as a pariah state that we used to be before. You know what I mean? So yeah, we look forward to tomorrow to celebrate victory tomorrow.
thank you guys. So yes. So now we're gonna transition to local news. Now that we're done with the global part. So today there was a ruling today in the case of the former Solicitor General Serena Sifor. He got a ticket on the I think on the 24th of April. He got stopped by a police guy and issued a
In
fifty
red,
dollar ticket.
I think that was in red light.
Yeah, and he was issued a $50 ticket, and he went to court. So the court ruled against him. He took an appeal to the highest court. So, what does this say about law enforcement in Liberia? Famula, we'll start with you. What does it? What do you make of this? In our language, you said "be me." The policeman
He
put a
may
"be
get
me"
do wrong.
over. Yeah, but today, police people, have the courage, right? So they're out there in the traffic and putting anybody over that are doing wrong. So they pulled a B man over Serena Seaford in, oh no, it was in Singer or something, not Raider. And because his registration, he didn't have a registration or something like that, he was fine. He was given $50 ticket and he went to court with it. And the court ruled against him to pay that ticket. What does it mean? Well, I mean,
Look, I
there's
mean, this is another excuse me, another clear drama. The former solicitor general dramatized the exact reason why
mhm,
people continue to speak about people going with the culture of impunity. This culture of impunity is something that has breeded so many bad characters in that country. People think that when they get in power, they become immune to certain things. We are in the United States. I have seen a case where a 96-year-old man
mhm,
ran the red light because he was taking his son who was physically challenged. He was taking him to the emergency.
mhm,
96-year-old man driving his son, and he ran a light and he went to the traffic court. This famous judge cited him and he explained the story. And they played the recording over there. And he admitted and said, "Oh, yes, I ran a light because my son was in the emergency. He had a seizure attack and
mhm.
he's physically challenged. And I'm 96 years old and I had to rush into the emergency. I never wanted him to die. And my wife died of cancer." And right there, the judge said, "But this is your fine. And do you want to pay?" He said, "Yes, I want to pay." And then the judge said, "Oh, no, you're not going to pay. Somebody already agreed to pay for you."
Mhm.
But that clearly shows that there is a law that when you violate this, there's a penalty. You
Right.
did not see him arguing, say, "Oh, I'm an elderly man, or I'm a veteran, or I'm a this. I'm supposed to pay." You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But in Liberia, we have this culture of impunity. People think that they can get away with anything. The case was not even directly with the Solicitor General. We all saw the video. The case was with the driver. But the Solicitor General saw this and as a form of making political points. He bought the case. He went in there and we saw it visibly on video. The evidence are there. He was insulting the police. And for the first time in my life, for me to see a very responsible and 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 and, and professional police officer who just focused directly on his job. He did not even go in any rigmarole or go in exchange with him. He just said, "This is what the law says, and this is what we're going to do." And he read him the ticket. He said, "If you want to, you can call him any name." He started using all kind of languages, which was something that we say, "Oh, okay." I think for some who were on the other side, I would say, I think the United States government was right to sanction him, man, because
So
this man really behaved like a real vagabond. He behaved like somebody who does not have respect for humankind, and I see why he should have that kind of a karma to be sanctioned.
you think he should have been given another ticket for for the way he was
Absolutely,
acting
I think. Look, Amy,
with the
and the
police?
police officer, really acted professional. If in this country here, that man, that's another case already. The police officer,
Yeah.
the department of will have taken another case against him. He will be after he finish paying his ticket, then he get another case again. Because we saw a visibly the evidence that he insulted the police.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not something that would go and say, oh, go polish this one. And then when he was trying to make it look like, oh, it was a political hunt. They knew that he was a ex-solicitor general, so that's why they put him. Oh, well, who cares whether you're ex-solicitor general? You are a criminal.
Why do you think that people like, people of such character or power, right? In power, why are they so comfortable with this whole idea that they should be untouchable, even when they are breaking the law? Why do you think that is?
That's exactly what we call impunity. That's what I said earlier. People think that when they reach a certain position in government, forgetting to know that that position that they reached, it was the taxpayer. They see ordinary people. They see police people who work more than you, who get go sit down in air conditioned office, but they on the street.
Mm-hmm.
They sitting on. They are exposed to the heat, the real heat. Some of them having skin cancer, some of them having ball cancer. They're going through all of the physical and utterances and all the things. In fact, the real gravitational force that they don't want facing. You sit in your office there, getting air conditioning and other things, signing on the necessary paper. If possible, you're not even doing nothing. You go sit in that office, who they finish, go back to your home. But they see police people out there, their salary cannot even come on time. Sometimes we from the university to say you salary delay. Some of them that uniform is becoming some big. We'll be calling them all I need, some big uniform. But they receiving smaller pay and you getting a bigger pay. You want to be breaking the law. Anyway, they say the lawmakers is the lawbreaker. They made a law, they violated the law, and in the end, they want to come and make it seem as if that they see. But see how the Solicitor General will treat the ordinary man who violated the law. They're quick to red nose, put that man behind bar. But you see, they want like big man now. So what they going to do? He go to court. Thank God the court said, my man, go pay the money. Go to LP, go to Supreme Court too. Will tell you, say the Supreme Court tell you the same thing. You got wasting your time.
Thank you. So Alfred, let's hear your point on this. Do you think I mean, every time these are the people that we hear saying, "Oh, the law is the law," and this person is violating the law. This person is violating my client's, rights and stuff like that. What do you think of the whole thing? And do you think that former Solicitor General were violating the policeman right too by all of these utterances and for just doing his job?
Thank you so much, Amy. It's so shameful. When I saw the video, I took a bag and sat down and started watching and said, what kind of country do we have here? For far too long, the culture of impunity that have ransacked our governing structure is unimaginable. That is the reason why you will find a former quote unquote solicitor general taking a police officer to argue. No, that's his right. Let's be clear here, right? The law provides that if you have been issued a ticket or traffic violation, that the law is punishing, you have your right to go to court. So let's make it clear here that let us not make it to seem like, because he's a lawyer, so that's the reason why he was going to court. No, the law provides the remedy to go to court.
Does the law provide that he insult this policeman?
No, not at all. No,
Yes.
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying here is that he has a right under the law to go to court
Oh,
to,
absolutely.
to explain why he should not be given such a ticket. He has a right to do that. But the fact of the matter here is that in as much as he has a right to do that, he does not have the right to abuse that opportunity. I think that's what happened in this case. He abused it because he felt like he in a position of power. He can use his position to intimidate law enforcement officers.
Right.
I will argue tonight that having considered the fact that the lower court has ruled against him, I think the police department should take another case against him. Because what he was doing over there, he was not only undermining the rule of law, but he was also putting those police officers in danger. Because what happened if it was another people that had that group behind them and the police officer pulled them over?
Mm-hmm.
They could harm the police officer only because he's doing his job. So I would argue that the police department take a serious exception against him and sue him for undermining the rule of law, for stopping the police officer's job. We call it obstruction, right? Under the law, they call it obstruction of the rule of law. He should go by the court. That was my
So
argument tonight.
your arguments in the police should take another
Yeah, let
case.
us take another case against
Is
him.
that should is you are you trying to set a deterrent here that because he's a very big powerful person in the country, right? And shooting kids, all of the things that all of us saw, right? You don't want it to repeat itself with somebody else and think that that's how you're supposed to handle the police when you're doing
Yeah,
something wrong. Is that why you think the police should take another case
yeah,
against
I think
people
the
that
police should
the
take
people will see that?
another case against him because it is evident that he was wrong. It is
Mm-hmm,
evident that he was wrong owing to all the video that we saw. The video can lie.
mm-hmm,
He was not professional enough to the police officer. He was rude to them. He was being disrespectful. He did not even honor the flag that the guys had on him. Being a prosecutor at that rate. He's a prosecutor. He's not just a layman that walking down the street that don't
mm-hmm.
know the functions of the law. He knows the functions of the law. He knows where the law is supposed to act, and he knows where the law has its own limit. So this is not somebody that just fall from the blue sky that don't understand what's going on when it comes to the rule of law. This is somebody that's school in the process of law. So for him to be the one to obstruct the enforcement of the law, I think in my view, the police department should take another case against him. That's my view on this issue. Because
So
this will serve as a deterrent. Mind you
thank
now, this will serve as a deterrent because you know what? Even in the legislature,
you.
you
Mm-hmm.
will not believe that the legislators when they pass the law that when they come into where they can take telling. Where in the world that one can happen? They still get that law on the book in Liberia. The issue of cultural impunity that one that's so. That's why you will see people that serious people and they will go in the street and misbehave on police officers. Because the very people that's supposed to be the one to strengthen our law enforcement, they are the one that breaking it, they bringing all kind of draconian law. Why the hell you supposed to be the work? Go to work soon. You know, with something from infrastructure, you know you're supposed to be to work by 9 o'clock in the morning. Why you be to your up to 8:30 when you know you're supposed to working there at 9 o'clock? Then you say you want to tell him when how you expect other cars to go? How you
Right.
expect other cars to move? And that's what we have on the book. They have
You
not changed that law. It stay there.
thank you,
So
Alfred.
we have a big issue as a country. This country need real sanitization. Not fun. We need to sanitize everything from the political spectrum to the social spectrum. Everything need to be sanitized if we want the country to move forward.
Thank you, Alfred. So yeah, we do have that in the rescue rescue sanitization.
I know you are going. You are come to talk about your
Meditation.
rescue, baby.
So yeah, we will. So formula the SG took the former SG took a appeal. What do you think? I mean, what is he gonna get out of this? What do you think gonna happen with this whole appeal thing? And should he be? I mean, should we look at the SG now to be one of the people that be telling us about about rule of law or about being law abiding citizen with this action?
Look, I have always used my philosophical construct, and every time I think about using it, I think about Socrates.
Mm-hmm.
You never ever receive um, moral instruction from anybody who has not proven their own wisdom.
Right.
I cannot sit for somebody who will exemplify or show negativity to come tomorrow somehow and tell me, say, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it. Look, the SG can like it, he run up and down. This country is a country of rule of law and order. And more besides, he should be setting an example.
Precedent, right.
He should be that one that will say, hey, look, the police. And I have seen people in Labro who just have the want to disregard for anything. The police will park and say, don't park for that man. Keep going. Have you seen videos of police even climbing on top of the boot of the car just to tell the driver to stop and the driver keep moving? Have you seen police trying to stop the keke or stop the motorcycle or the tricycle from moving and it will be dragging the police? Where in the world have you seen? Wait, before you try that one on the side, the amount of bullet that you receive first, the amount of bullet you receive first,
Little shift on you.
that it will rest your body. Then before you come on the side, and you can't say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," it'll be late for you. So we just don't respect anything in our country. That people just think that when they're in certain position and they won't respect nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to change it. And that's the reason why you find so many young people as insulting elders today. Where is our moral? Where is our traditional tenet? The things that we were look. We have to come back to the point where we start to pay courtesy and start respecting our basic norms first. Before these laws came into being, we have our common law.
Mm-hmm.
But today you see everybody doing their own thing. Imagine the common thing today that making everybody. Sometimes if I even listen to some Liberian, I get be nodding my head. You say the country is dirty. The same very people. 1 minute person stay right, person say, "Damn, Broad Street dirty." Oh. 2 minutes ago, the person already bought cold water sachet on the road, and they finish drinking it. Where they throw it here? Right on the street.
Yeah.
Someone sat in the keke. They buy banana passing. Oh, banana can. He ate the banana and he threw the peeling on the street. Tomorrow, you the same person will come back and say the street dirty. This entitlement, nobody want to own it to themselves to say, "Oh, this thing is a collective thing." If Liberia will be clean, it have to start from us. But because they want to have this idea that it is the government responsibility to do everything, the government will send people to your house to even flush your camo. And if the government start doing that again, they say, "Oh, this is dictatorial, this is capitalist." Because if the government sends somebody to your house to flush your camo, then that means the government will tax you to pay money so the government can pay that person to flush your camo. Yeah. So you don't want to do it. And as soon as you do that, imagine, I saw some video today. Yana boys are reading petition. Oh, they're taxing us, they're telling us to pay due for the area we sell inside the road. Oh, you won't pay, you won't sell inside the road. You they see area, you can buy a couple, you buy water, you're the area. How you expect the government to get people that will come to sweep and clean that area? Oh, they're free? Okay, go sit down there. Everything we want is free. That means Liberia going nowhere. In Uncle Sam, the country that get all the wealth that people think everything is better. Have they serve you any free thing in the country?
No.
No free thing yet.
Don't go work. It's
No
what
free
it
thing yet.
in fact, Famo, I've lived in this country for the last 7 years. The only thing I know in this country that people are more comfortable of allowing you is food.
Oh yeah.
Food. You can enter any house, they give you food, but not money. Not money.
It depends on what kind of food they will give you.
Exactly.
Okay, you come from Africa. Who want to go look at you and go say that me come a palm border and go give it to you? Who will give you palm border? When they go look at someone something that they I said no, they can't eat, they'll tell you say go and feed yourself.
Money.
So Alfred,
yeah.
Back to listen. So what do you think with this whole appeal and the same question? Do you think
the whole thing about appeal? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that the SG should be one of the people that you look up to for to preach the rule of law or law and order and all of that in our country?
Hey, me, I think I forgot something. Let me just Alfred before you come in. Look, this is what I already know. It seems to be that the Solicitor General has been out of the courthouse for a long while, so he's trying to flex his legal muscle to see whether he can still he still have that legal understanding to see how well he can articulate issue and balance it. And maybe that's what he's trying to do. Because if you go down here and they say
that just showmanship. That showmanship you won't order.
Yeah, you won't go up there, you won't go to the Supreme Court, take an appeal because he said,
Supreme Court people, they fight justices over there. You think they just sit down to listen to funny cases. You go to $50 case, you go over there, hey, you won't go with the put on. That just showmanship, yeah. The whole thing is showmanship. He will pay that money. I don't care what he do. He will pay that money. He like him and go sit down behind just a well just a Nisa. I always forget your name. Just
Sienna
a
Yo.
Chanel yo. But like he
Mhm.
go sit down behind just a Chanel yo. He will still pay that $50. I even wanted for you to punish him more. That is the police will take another case against him. Then he go pay another money. Then that way he will learn sense. He will learn sense. I'm telling
Thank
you.
you.
You
Thank
know.
you,
But
Efren.
yeah, my sister. Let me propound a little bit on this Serena Siva stuff. You
Okay.
know, there's big man syndrome thing in this country, in our
Mm-hmm.
country. It's a problem. The big
Absolutely.
man syndrome thing is a problem. So Serena Siva is not the only person that
Oh yeah.
does this kind of things. Even
Mm-hmm.
in a police post, even in the police post, you have people in the police post like just take telephone and call. Leave that my interest, leave that person, let it go. We can't develop a country like that.
No.
People don't want to follow the law. I can be a police officer, a senior police officer. I'm doing my personal business because most of them, when they get to that position, they can handle money now. They go into the transport sector. Most of the BB police officers, then they go into the transport sector. They buy their cars. They put it in the street. Most of the cars for the first 1 year, they will not even register it. Some of them will not even have insurance on it. They will put it in the street. When police officers arrest them, then they will take telephone. Leave that car. That's my interest. So Serena Silva is not the only person that's parading himself in this kind of form and manner. We have other people, but they have not just come out. That's all. We can see them. Serena is already up there, so that what we are that he the one we see Nana. But there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people in our country, my sister, that literally violate the rule of law. They do that on a day-to-day basis. And that is a culture that we have created over the years. And to break that apart, you need a strong man in the executive mansion that will say no to some of this nonsense. You know, we need to re-evaluate the whole governance system in our country. What do we want as a people? The last thing I made the comment on it. We need to know
Mm-hmm.
what we want. It should not always be the old way. We need to sit down as a country and think about
Efren,
what
you
we want
think?
as a country.
But do you think if it's left with us as just citizens to make that decision, you think we will make that decision, or like you said, we need strong leaders to make that decision for us? Because I noticed that Liberians, we always talk about we want change, right? We want development, we want this, but when it's when someone come and start to carry those things on, we start to cry as if it's gonna be so easy or it's not. So, do you think the citizen can be the one to answer that question, to make that decision, or it should be left with a leader to have that,
Let me let me
for
let
a
me say
country?
this to you. Let me say this to you. Our old book can say the fish can get rotting from the head.
Mm-hmm.
The fish can always get rotting from the head. If you have a good fish that have a good hair with a red gill in it, every part of it will be fresh. I'm telling you. Let me give
Mm-hmm.
you an example. There's a silver seven in Liberia called Mary Bro. Some people call Mary Bro. This lady, when Ellie became president, Ellie brought her into the picture.
Okay, we got a transition. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just say this. Ellen brought in the picture. She was at Freeport. She organized Freeport and left it and left from there and went to the city hall. Today in Liberia, they can call it Mary Broad Day every Saturday. When she started, there was a barrage of disagreement. People didn't agree with her. She used to
Mm-hmm.
wear her trousers and
Oh,
getting the shoe with rattle in her hand, beating people, breaking the law. She should break the law, taking the law into her hand and beating people and say, no, this is not how our country is going to be. When Mary Broad coming, everybody going into their shell. You need a leader with a focus. Mary
mm-hmm.
Broad was at the city hall every Saturday. When Mary Broad coming in your community, you see people running to go and start looking for the order there to bring it outside, to clean your place. That's why she left her mark. Today in Liberia, in Morovia for that matter, everybody know Mary Broad. She don't play. She doesn't play at all. So if we want this thing to cover the whole country, you need a strong man or strong woman in the executive mansion that will direct the focus of the people. But if you have people that surrounds the president, and only after a while they can get it, don't have time for the bigger picture, which is the development of the entire country, will just be in a circle. That's why
Yeah.
you will find people that Serena Seafood then come in, they say they're taking a P for $50. They're going to Supreme Court. They go and waste, they just say the entire because of $50 penny. And he can afford it. Not to say he can't afford it. He can afford it to pay. But he want to show showmanship. You know, the big man syndrome. And I agree with that. Going to Supreme Court, I get influence with the Supreme Court, I will not pay the money. The
Thank you,
bottom line
Alfred.
is you will not pay the money, you will keep dragging the case. But let me warn you, Serena, anything you do, you will pay that money. You go or you can't down, you will pay that money. Because
Thank you.
that the next politics will bring, will make sure will be behind the SG. Will be behind the SG to make sure he pay
You
that
must
money.
pay, right? Campaign.
Yeah, he will gotta pay. Because the next
Thank you.
woman jump behind Greg to ask Greg whether he pay that money.
Thank you, Alfred. Yes. So we transitioning to, this is something I don't know, I should call it confusing, or I mean, must you do this, or are you confused? You don't have anything to do, and you just looking for just touring stuff, right? And to see which one will stick on the wall. So now the June 7th protests in Liberia, the Mobile Madu and other people protest like right there. The flyers up there. Um, this protest from the government should create job. The government should raise the minimum wage. We pull holes in that. Everybody talk about that. Is this, is that? The government should create jobs. Now we go into it has turned into a CDC protest. You know, now they have declared a day as we are coming back day 2029. So, Famila, what do you think of this, right? And they're urging the supporters to assemble at the disputed headquarters in Congo Town for this event, right? From all of this thing, first Mobile Modi said this was all about the Liberian people and all of this and all of that. Now, just what we've been saying, right? You've been supporting this guy and you never saw any bad thing. Now you want to come into this. Right back. This has now turned into We Are Come Back 2029 campaign. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on it? You think George Weah can make a comeback, that they had to make, that they are doing a protest and all that? Is this going to help him? Like, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I think the guys are sometimes delusional, sometimes when I talk like that, my friend Alfred and man say, man, from all you can be too strong, your man, but you see people just coming up and just saying things recklessly. Who told you that President Weah in himself knows fully well that he failed miserably? I know there are still elements around President Weah who tasted power, and for the fact that they've been out of power for a year and 4 to 5 or 6 months, they are feeling empty. So you see, everything about CDC is just centered around Weah. People just use President Weah to enrich themselves. People use President Weah popularity, and to do a lot of criminal things at the detriment of our people. So now they're coming back again. They're saying we are 2029. Look, the elections is now won by those number of people you put in t-shirt. Election is now won by people who assemble in a low, tight, disputed, headquarters. That's not how we're going to win election. Election is not only centered around Mosorado County. Election is always centered around what you've done for your people and what the people see that you are still capable of doing. Look, I've always known Moriba Moru to be one of those people who talk a lot. He's on recorded tape. He said one person will be out of their position. When Senator Dillon wins, he will resign as party chairman. Nobody going to take Moriba Moru serious. Moriba Moru went against Yeke Koruba. If you are so sophisticated, Yeke Koruba whipping in an election. I don't know what else again. He has failed miserably as a person. Leading a political party to an election where Georgia already had his popularity and the backing of Manaseli, and he claiming to be, oh, I brought CDC to power. When Manaseli left from beyond CDC, what happened to CDC? Did CDC go anywhere? No. So, look, we are not saying that Liberian people should not assemble, but I always like to caution them. Why are you assembling for?
Mm-hmm.
To go wear t-shirt again and beret?
And hats.
Can those hats and t-shirt and beret put food on the table for your family?
You, Formula, you think there should be the Liberian people now? Because with CDC policies, I think they will, regardless of what you tell them, the moment you say something about we are, they will show up, right? But they independent, right? People that was trying to, that were even thinking that, oh, maybe this guy might be right. He fighting for us. Oh, maybe the people need, you know, they need a raise in, we need jobs. So these are the things they're talking about coming out for. Hearing this now, right? Do you think they should question the whole, more of this protest and say, wait a minute, what happened to you speaking for the Liberian people and all this time?
What do you get out of bunch of clip, bunch of incompetent people, bunch of corrupt elements? They protest, you know how it used to be. Alfred knows that before, when the people used to talk about protests in Liberia, we used to have our Manaseli's sister, Jenny. What's our name? Jenny. She used to go and call for those guys then who was the head for the protest, put them in her van and give them money. And many a time those protests then would die a controversial death. And then the people would say, oh, the men compromise the protest. Moruba Marune used to do that thing and they used to get away with it. But you think that this administration is one of those administrations that are going to, when you raise those notes, they will call and say, oh, Moruba Moru can't let negotiate, let talk, and they will gain something. He ain't getting racked. He ain't go all in down. We'll usher them. The government will guard them. In as much as they do not violate and do anything, we'll give them it's a right to assemble. But I know there is always a negative agenda under this entire assembly. The protests in Liberia are never gone according to the way they say it on the radio. How we're peacefully, he can say, we're peacefully but powerfully assemble. He said peacefully, he said powerfully assemble. So that means the police and the other security apparatus will get prepared to powerfully and escort you if you cross the red line. And we know Moruba Marune will always get a few men that will help them to escape. And then the ordinary people then who will be there that didn't want to suffer. So I just use the medium to advise my brothers and sisters out there. It better
go regroup.
It better you go home, you sit and eat your driver in peace. Moruba Marune successfully during that time they were saving up money. So Moruba Maru can be dancing around. Moruba Maru stay eating. He stay eating. Moruba Maru was not working in government, but I know people. I'm not saying this. This is not an allegation. It's not alleged. I'm not saying allegedly. I know Moruba Maru was seated at the party headquarters. People were even meeting Moruba Maru at the boulevard for recommendation to go to position, and they were paying money. Amy, I'm telling this to you. This is not allegedly. Moruba Maru had his slot. Almost like when we were in student leadership at the University of Liberia, when the scholarship scheme came up, we that are in leadership, they used to give us slot. And you can decide who to give your slot to. So if I have 20 slot, I go to 20 students who get out. I say you get a school fee at 5,000. I say give me 3,000. You take the slot, you go do your registration. So Moruba Marune had a slot. So they were sending people all around to ministries. There are some ministries, some people carry that letter, they bounce back. You're not getting your mind back. You dance around. Moruba will put you on waiting list. Say, I'll find somewhere else to send you. So we know they kind of character. We know this kind of for people. So why President we are going outside taking money, putting it in directly in his own account? But Maru never on the other side too running their own show. Everybody running their own show. So all the criminal cartel, and all the criminal link they were doing it, and now they are out of there now, it's hurting them. So any little thing that they want to put the country on a boarding point, and we're not going to sit there and allow a Molu to come and disturb that country. That's the reason why we have invested more money now in security, and some people don't understand why we're investing money in security. It is because for some of these meaning things, because the region is not safe. That's all the thing there. The entire region is not safe. There's a proliferation of you seeing coup taking all around the place. But we have to fortify our Alabama get enough, standing army. We already know that the security apparatus in the country is not enough. So when I allow nurse, are people looking for food to eat, and you bring nurse in the country? We'll see. Let's see how it goes out.
You. So Alfred,
I mean, the whole debate, those guys are, I feel sorry for our people. I really do. There are still some segment of our people who still not, they have not come to the realization that, coming to CDC or supporting these political chicanery will bring them any good. They have not come to that realization yet. I mean, if you look at the protests from the very onset, what Mobile Molu was talking about in terms of advocacy, and now bringing George Weah in the picture really, 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 really defeats the whole entire purpose. It defeats the entire purpose. The agenda has been made known.
You think that, yeah? So Alfred, this is that you think there are a whole agenda from the day that this government got inaugurated, the president, that like the formula said they were angry, they were this, and they're making utterances like, "Oh, we will make this country ungovernable." But I will not be able to. You think these are some of their making this thing that they try to put into place, and they try to fool the people by hiding behind and say, "Oh, we are doing it for the people. The people should get raised." The people. You think this is one of them?
I couldn't agree with you more. This is why we are saying that. That's why we are on this different platform to sharpen the distraction. The distraction and contradiction. That's why we are here to let our people know that these guys are in no way in their interest. Because we have 2029, I think about 5 years from now. What does that have to do with the employment opportunities in the country? What does that have to do with the infrastructure development that we're talking about that we don't have?
Right.
2029 is 5 years away. Then you want to have a protest and make cap and say we are coming back 2029. What is the trajectory that we want to see that the government is not doing, that you're trying to proffer, a new campaign? So it be my imagination that we will still be talking about people like Mobile Molu. I would strongly believe, I would very strongly think that we should not even be giving Mobile Molu any kind of relevance here. Because, the guys know very well what they are doing. And I will tell you this, Mobile Molu is a person, people person. He knows how to galvanize. You can't take that away from Mobile Molu. Everybody in the CDC knows how rigorous he is when it comes to, being a grassroots.
With this protest,
it's a real grassroots.
With this protest, Alfred, you think Mobile Molu is trying to do what we call damage control, still doing damage control with the whole weird tip release thing about, breaking out weird little thing he had going on in the bag, sleeping with women for jobs and whatever, the whole liquor room talk, whatever, that whole tip that today you think he's still trying to rebrand himself where we are with doing stuff like this?
Yeah, I want to sharply believe what you are saying. I want to believe what you are saying because he wrote a very, very eloquent letter when he resigned as a chairman of the CDC, and he raised serious concern in the letter that he wrote. How he was put aside because he spoke his mind, and George Weah being the president took a question against him and did not look his way, And all the time he was chairman for the last 5 years, when he was when the CDC was in the presidency, he did not have any influence as a chairman of the party. He made all those assertions in his letter. So we know that there is a bloodbath between him and George Weah. And we also know that George Weah is someone who is very, very much strong-hearted. He doesn't forgive and forget. He always wants something to be in his interest. So they like and shine from him before it goes to anybody. That's how George Weah operates. So if you want to be part of that George Weah light, you have to make sure that you pamper him. George Weah needs he loves to be pampered. He loves to be glorified. So if you do anything and you bring George Weah in as the arrowhead, you succeed. So I think he wants to mend some gaps that he had with former president. We are thinking that maybe 2029 there will be an opportunity where he can come out to the party again. Only and only if this unity party fails to deliver on its promises. You know what I'm
So
saying?
yes, but I'm noticing a trend here though, right? During the Weah presidency, the opposition had a protest, right? Around the same time, what, June or July, something like that, right? June
Yeah.
7 protest, the famous June 7 protest, and this had the opposition in the country real, powerful and everything. The CPP at the time, right? It brought.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see with this whole Malu protest and thing? You think that CDC brought him on when they seen this crowd and thing, and that when he was talking about these protests, you think they used that to kind of, that my brother from would say cajole him and say, oh, we should bring them under the Sakimo tree and make it will then blame you and the chief together back and something. You think that's the strategy they're trying to use here? You think that, are they thinking that this protest would make Weah any relevant, or instead of him doing things that would make his bid for 2029, important and valuable, but to be doing noise, making noise and bringing protests like that, you think that's the same strategy that's trying to follow and they think it's going to work for them?
I think I'm reading from Mobile Molu's mind. I would think that the whole issue about trying to connect President Weah to the quote unquote protest that Mr. Molu is trying to organize. I think
Right.
in my mind, I would agree with the assessment that you made that, you know, having considered the rigmarole they had in the previous, uh, you know, presidency, he
Mm-hmm.
want to begin a process of, rebranding himself so that the president can have some level of trust.
Right.
We stay far away from 2029. So if he can start rebranding himself with the president and the president start gaining some trust with him, he has a place to say maybe 5 years from now or 4 years from now, if and only if the Unity Party fails to deliver on its promises to the people of Liberia, he can say, look, he can look back and say, Mr. President, we started a struggle. The same way we started in 2004. When you left the presidency, I was the number one person that came up and started to rebrand you to the Liberian people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I
Right.
remember very well, I was still a student at that time. I remember when we were all in the CDC, when Mobile Molu shows up, we implement. So I understand this brother very well. He's a very calculated person. He's a grassrooter. He knows how to organize, and no one in the CDC can take that away from Mobile Molu. The final thing I would like to say is that Mobile Molu is still a sedition. He's
Mm-hmm.
still a sedition. So no matter whether or not he call himself, civil rights advocate right now, he's still a sedition. So the doors are still open for him to come back to the CDC. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
the only storming black here with him is the arrowhead, which is George Weah.
Right.
So by doing this kind of political chicanery where he can gain favor with the president, it will be in his interest. So that's what he's doing. So I don't think that this whole issue of protest is about, putting the government feet to fire to deliver on its promises to the Liberian people. It's all about what Mr. Moro can do to realign himself with the president, which is President Weah, to see how best, if only and only if, I repeat that it's still 3 different times now, only and only if Mr. Bwaka sits in the mansion and does not deliver on the promises that he made to the Liberian people, this will give people the Mobile Molu the opportunity to come back to come back and tell President Weah, look, read from history. 2004, 2005, we brought you to Morovia. We sold you to the Liberian people. We were one of those foot soldiers in the trenches. And President Weah can look back and say, yeah, even though Mobile Molu did XYZ in our presidency, he still have a history with me. He's still part of us. Everybody can make mistakes. I think I should that trust will start be built. Will start to build along the way. But I don't see this whole protest as being, putting the government feet to fire to deliver on its promises to Liberian people. It's all about Mumba Molu and the low guys that around him that felt disenchanted with the way President Weah treated him. So they feel that this will be an opportunity to realign themselves with the president.
Thank you. Famila, as before we are closing, do you think with the whole protesting, I know from the look of things, Madu is trying to help Weah here, right? But from the way he started, from advocating for the Liberian people, civil servants, no job. The government should create jobs. The government should pay people $500. That's why we're coming out and do all this money. And now we've seen it end up to Save Weah campaign 2029.
Look,
Do you think that this, from what we see now, which has been misleading from the first place, right? From the onset, yeah, been misleading the Liberian people with the whole protesting. Do you think now, with all of this coming out in the Liberian people knowing this, will it hew any fruits to the whole Weah comeback campaign? Do you think it can help Weah to come back? Do you think this is it? Do you think this is it for Weah? Or is it going to hurt him? Will it help him or is it going to hurt him?
Look, I do not understand why pseudo politicians will always come up with this sheer hypocrisy. Mobile Molu is a working frame, is a working example of being a hypocrite. You cannot come up at this time to say that you speaking on behalf of the Liberian people when you have 6 years, 6 straight years as the chairman of the ruling party, then to speak directly to the president. And according to tradition, the chairman is the most powerful man in the party. According to the political tradition, that chairman amassed so much power that when he even calls the president should be trimming to run to him. For he to sit over there for 6 years and the $1,550 minimum wage, our people couldn't get it. It was just in this administration that through the many cries and too many people put and all of the independent media and other people, everybody beating more on the government before the government had to raise that money to at least 150, the minimum, to get some people there. But Mobile Molu sat for 6 years, he did not do anything. Mobile Molu sat there when people were dying in our country there, mysteriously. He said nothing. Mobile Molu sat there when the rape cases in the country was proliferating. He said nothing. When men were parading the street with firearms, we saw that so many of those guys had their own group. Everybody had their own militant group. Was boarding up in our country there. We're having the Red Beret, you're having all the other squad,
unit.
All the unit there. Everybody get their own unit to protect their interests. And nothing will happen. He said nothing. And today you want to use the Liberian people. Why would politicians think that our people are stupid? And they should always be used. And in the time of the uprising, they will be the first to flee the scene. They disappear.
They'll go and regroup.
They go regroup.
Let me use my man for another Patrick.
Yeah. They disappear. And then they leave our people there to suffer from the brains of those tear gases, suffer from the misusing of the Batu by the police, because the police too going to misuse a Batu on some of them. Some people will lose a kneecap that day because they will beat some men in kneecap. We're not going to sit down there for you to come. They say where your right end and another man right begin. If you walk peacefully to where you want to go, walk and go there. But if you guys say you guys want to use this, and mobile model wants to use it to mend fences and mend the bridge between here and Josh Weah, and you think that he can use it at the detriment of the ordinary people, we are already fighting for that country to stabilize. And you think you're going to bring unnecessary pandemonium that's going to erupt the country into another thing? Look, he must be joking. Let
Do
him
you
go.
think it's gonna help Weah them? Or
It's not helping Weah. President Weah is not into that. President Weah is a celebrity. You don't know that President Weah is a celebrity. He
He
considers
already
himself.
got unpopularity.
Yeah, he's a human manager. We do not need a man of Malu to go say, oh, and let assemble people for you for the president to see that he can stay making in 2029. President, we are going make an attempt to even walk down Douala Market, the whole place will be upside down. President, we are goes anywhere. People will be eager to see him because people heard about him.
Yeah.
Some people have never had the opportunity to see him. You know, some of us managed to fall in love with President We are on the basis that he was enshrined in our Shura Study book when we were way down the line.
1995.
Yeah.
Blavado.
When they spoke about George Weah in our book, that how they indoctrinated us to hear about Weah without even seeing him. So today our generation continue to say, oh yeah, George Weah. But George Weah is a celebrity. And no matter what happens, he can pull all his own crowd. So he doesn't need people. That is why all the criminals, they always keep aligning
He
with
doesn't
George
need
Weah.
people.
No,
He doesn't
what
need-
he's trying to
I
say,
mean,
what
no,
he's-
All those
no,
crowd that he pulled, he
No,
what
he's
he's trying to say-
He
So what
doesn't
do you
need
mean?
those spudo, those spineless guys to come and say, oh, we're going and assemble people for them to can't show you that they love you. You don't need that. Some of those guys need, in fact, the politician in Liberia that need George, they need George Weah more than he need them. You know, there was this time that George Weah was lifting up people's heads and they were going on web ballot in that country there. And then when the time came, he saw that some of those people's heads he was lifting, they were not in the interest of the people. He started saying, no, my man. George Weah said, he started getting, he coming to his set and he said, if I put your hand, or the people say they want you on your own. You go figure it
yeah,
out for
I
yourself.
want him making that statement. He was so frustrated.
Yeah. You see what happened to Bomi Kane, Setomane.
Yeah.
I see you wonder, a man felt that he said, if that thing you're going to say to Agbana, I hear for the Weah shit. You see the president go all along.
The president went out of line that day.
So you should know. You should know that George Weah reached to a point where he tired of being used by these guys. So he know that tactic. And if you can go back to that video, I mean, quickly before you go to Alfred, if you go back to the video, when Samuel Tuer even went and did that declaration, you are shaking. He said, President Weah, it will even surprise you to know that we even send it current now to Ivory Coast. You saw the man body language. You saw President Weah body language. The man said, I mean, listen to them what they want to say. So all the things that we already know that they made they only believe in talking. That's the reason why when you listen to his acceptance speech, he said he was having the power to protect the vote. You're having the power to retain it. But you said under a feeling going there, you telling me now I must hold on to power. He said, I agree. He said, I agree. So that's it.
I think if you go there for me, let me start from where you start.
Yeah, even the president said that Bagu, you're not showing anyone here. So what do you think? Will this help him or hurt him?
I think the whole thing like I said
all
to
the
you.
contradiction and all the back and forth and should I call it lies or whatever?
Historically, President Weah will continue to remain the former president of the country. He's still our former president, and he still have the popularity when it comes to him being the president. In fact, let me distinguish George Weah from his presidency and the man George Weah. The man George Weah is loved even by us that on the panel.
Oh yeah.
The man George Weah. I'm not saying the politician George Weah. I say the man George Weah.
Yeah. You're right.
He's loved by all of us, no doubt. He's our brother. He's our countryman. He put our country on the map. We were in chaos. This is something that no Liberian can take away from George Weah.
No.
He earned that. He earned that. So he does not need a Malu for people to gravitate towards him. No. So the whole issue of protest, the whole issue about bringing George Weah back in the picture is a calculated attempt by Mr. Malu and those that didn't align well with President Weah in the last term of the presidency, and they think in their mind with what's going on in the country, with some of the elements that within the Unity Party that are messing things up, that they know. Because mind you now, all the politicians, all of them can go sit on the same table and knock glasses together. They know what they can talk behind the scene. There are some people in the Unity Party government that are not performing.
Oh yeah.
And the president is very frustrated with what they are doing. You know, and the people that more that in the political cycle, they know what's going on. So looking at that, you know, as a politician, you have to be very calculated because timing in politics is very, very essential. You want to seize the moment all of the time. All of the time, you want to seize the moment. So Mr. Molo thinks that this is an opportunity to seize the moment to mend fences with President Weah, with the assumption that there will be a possibility that the Unity Party will not perform. And if they don't perform, as they keep as the way we press the Weah and make our people to understand that President Boakai will come with all the technical know-how to deliver for our people, which I have no doubt that the president has good intention for the country, and I'm hoping that he will perform. I really do. That's why I keep criticizing him so he can perform. I will never be on a social platform to sing praises to President Boakai. I will always be on the face because I want him to perform, so that we can have those of us that raise our hand and went and stood on our feet for 2, 3, 4 hours, 10 hours, and raise our $500 and support President Boakai. We won't be having a bold face in 2029 and say, yeah, we were right when we made a decision to contribute, and not only to contribute, but to sacrifice our time to speak to our people to vote in the office. We want to have that face. We want to have that face 2029. So this is an opportunity for the Unity Party to be able to perform. We cannot. There's no excuse to squander any kind of opportunity. There is no excuse for that.
Okay.
There is no excuse. I'm telling you, there is no excuse to squander any kind of opportunity.
Thank you.
No, we don't want to squander any opportunity. We should be able to perform.
Include your closing in that, and we just
let me just call it a day because we're already going 2 hours. There is no excuse on the part of the Unity Party to not perform. We wanted to perform. Nobody must tell me I need to manage my expectation. No, I cannot manage my expectation because I know who I put in the executive mansion. So I am not going to manage my expectation. I will continue to criticize the president where the president is not doing well until we can reach 2029, where we'll have the face to say, yeah, we were right when we brought Joseph Boakai. And we believe that the candidate that were with Joseph Boakai, if and only if the president does not have the strength again to continue, we can support that candidate to continue the good work in 2029. And that is my hope. But besides that, the protests that are coming up, where you see Joya come back 2029, is just a calculated attempt by Mobile Molo and his likes to be able to mend fences with President Weah to bring the photo president Weah can bring him back in the circle. That's all that's all it's about. It's not about advocating for our people in terms of raising salary, in terms of putting the government fit to fire to perform in the areas, maybe for example, education or the current infrastructure that we're battling with. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Pamela, do you want to do your closing?
Let me just quickly say what a great show, and it's always good for us to come here. For us, we know that there is still a lot of time that this government can still keep up with all the promises they made to the Liberian people. And more besides, the alliance have already incorporated more people
Mhm.
so that we can showcase that it's an inclusive government. Everybody come and show your talent, come and show what you got, and then the president will revisit and see what he can do to reshuffle the cabinet. Are there people in the government that is not working effectively and efficiently? Yes, we can say that. Are there people who are bootlickers? Are there people who are quote unquote opposition to the government and they work in the government? Yes, because anybody who comes to steal from the government, knowing fully well that the government come on the mantra of corruption free, come on the mantra of building, let's think, love and build Liberia, and you come under the canopy of stealing and looting from the country, that is an opposition mindset.
Right.
So you are opposed to the government. So those people need to be weeded out. And how can they be weeded out? We are admonishing, we are charging the government to strengthen the judicial arm of our country, because no country will easily be able to minimize this financial crime or even any other crime in the country if there is no robust and well equipped judicial system. So many people go over there and they believe that if you get money you can find a way through the court and it can work for you, and not justice for the poor. And that system has to change. Why? Because the people who are sitting in the offices, who are interpreting the law, they should not do the pay for play. They should stop it and take the country first. In as much as this man is wrong, and not because he get money, he should not be given justice and at the detriment of the other man who does not have the money. So we still say President Baka can redeem this country. He can set the pace and he can prepare us, the young people, to continue from there, because he has lived an exemplary life. That's the reason why, you know what, I can tell anybody you can beat on any other person over there, but President Baka, he's a real true statement. He
Thank you.
really wants us to build that country, and that's the reason why we continue to say that this government will succeed and the Unity Party will do everything in its power to fulfill and fulfill what they have promised the Liberian people. Will we the bad apple or Alfred? I promise you, the bad apples will be out.
Thank you. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This is our day one of the Nightly Exchange, and we will be here tomorrow, God's willing, to continue to discuss Liberia. And like I said to you earlier, we are on here from Monday to Thursday. This is the crew from the late night show on Spoon, and we are on Spoon on Friday and Saturday. So the rest of the week we are on here. So do join us, share the show when you come on. Well, St. Johnson, we want to tell you thank you for joining us, and Mount Ruth, thank you for locating us. And
She dealing with me in the comment and no one been in.
Brother Vasco, thank you. Thank you for coming on and disturbing us. But next time, please show up on the show and discuss the issue instead of you being in the chat room. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate it. And our control will get better. We will always come up here to talk about it. And we hope that you will come and join us too. We will start to do call maybe tomorrow or so. We'll try to put numbers up that you will call, and also chime in on the discussion and let us know your point, or make your point to the topic on the discussions and everything. But tonight we started late, so we don't have the luxury of time to do so. So we will just end here for now tonight, and we thank you for coming, and we will see you guys willing tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Hopefully, I hope 8 o'clock, guys. We will show up here and discuss Liberia. And I hope when we come tomorrow, we'll be celebrating the win for Liberia, right?
Yep.
We will know the result tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we know the result tomorrow.
Okay, so we're not doing it at Liberia election that we go for 1 2 weeks. We'll know
No, no.
the results.
The
Hopefully, we'll come
result will
back
be right at the UN tomorrow. The thing already happened. It's just a formality tomorrow, actually.
to God's
You
willing.
know, that's
Absolutely.
that's the protocol, so they have to go through it. But Liberia has already actually done all its what it's supposed to do in terms of lobbying other country.
Dig it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Liberia have already done its groundwork. All the you know the different organizations Liberia is supposed to go to seek, especially when it comes to the AU and ECOWAS. Liberia has already done that. So
Awesome.
it just putting the ice on the cake tomorrow.
Absolutely. So that sounds good. So we'll come here tomorrow, celebrating Liberia, celebrating Africa, and from there we hope we'll come here for another African countries as well, taking the next step, and we will all be there supporting and voting. This is Africa. We have to stick together, right? We have to support
Mhm.
each other, and we pray and hope tomorrow that they will do so for Liberia. And with that, I said good night. Thank you, and see you tomorrow, guys.